go.
Okay. You might be able to move your mic just a little bit closer.
Yeah, how's that?
Yeah, that's pretty good. So tick your audio.
Yep, done that.
Okay. Welcome to ANZCRL Combined Racing League's third session of our Le Mans 24 hours. We're about to start the third session, which will be a 2-hour session, starting at 3 o'clock in the morning, running all the way up to 1 p.m. in the afternoon. We're going to see the leading car of Dark Racing 40 take off in the LMPHs, and also Jetto in the GTE car. They have a wait time. In 3 seconds weary night, so he would have been gone already as well in the other second of the LMPHs. Next to go will obviously be Tim and Jack in the defending champion race winners from last year in the Aston Martin. Then in 30 seconds time, well, pretty much in the next 5 seconds, we will see the P51 Sim Sports car of Commander Sirius in his My Car sponsored BMW. If you watched the stream last night, you'll understand the My Car's comment. And in 50 seconds, we'll have Nürburger go with Hud's 1 second behind him, leaving at the in another 5 seconds time. So Nürburger will start his race in the Ford Ferrari. Off he goes, and there you can see also Hud's taken off in the 6-notch Motorsport Toyota. Now at this time as well, we'll see Dark Lord just motoring on slowly, and he's going to be parked up near the pit lane exit because he has a 6 minute hold time, 6 minute 18 second hold time. Now this is all based on a compression formula that we used based on their end of race time from the previous session. So we're back into it, and we'll get into it now. That I'm your host, Woody Lizard, and joining me is Illogical Sports. Welcome, Illogical.
Good morning, thank you.
So if we can just confirm if anyone's watching the stream, if they can just let a little text know if we can hear Illogical's audio. I think we should have it all nice. So if you want to have a few words, Illogical, and let us know how your race ran last night in the, I think you did, was it a double stint yesterday? You did the 1 hour stint?
Yeah, sure.
No, you only just did the 2 hour.
No, I did the 1 and the 2, got it started. And Sirius is going to do the full day today, 3 and 4. Not the best racing.
Nice.
It was different conditions out there than what every single practice session was. But no, it was good fun. So much fun out there.
I believe that track temperature was in an excess of about 40 degrees during the day. Would I be correct in saying that, especially the first section?
Yeah, it got to 42, I think was the worst at one stage.
Wow. And obviously you're the pilot of the P51 Sim Sports GT car.
That's it, BMW.
The jet black BMW. Currently Commander Sirius now is on board and seeing what he can do. Currently running third in the GTE class.
Yeah, he's quicker than me, so hopefully he can close up that gap.
And now the big question, after Jetto has basically run flag to flag almost so far in the first 2 sessions. They've run already for 3 hours and 1 minute roughly, and over 46 laps in total. He's taken over from Jetto, Colonel Lloyd, in this number 60 RFH Chevrolet Corvette. We don't know if he's been foxing through practice times. He's only been managing, I think, those 57s or something like that, 3 minute 57s.
Yeah, very unknown at this stage.
Yeah, where most of the guys, as we've seen, 354s, sometimes through the race, 55s have been sort of like the average. So he's going to have to make sure that he can get some pace going out of this car, otherwise he's going to have Tim and Jack in that Aston Martin on him very shortly.
That's it. Yeah, Tim and Jack was quick, very consistent in session 1. And then obviously Dado closed up the gap in session 2.
Yeah, the Statesman, he did a good job, but look at Weary Night now piling a whole lot of pressure. This is going to be interesting to see where they distribute the curves and if the Porsche can hold off for another lap here. We saw we were very strong last night session. Made the extra pit stop last night, I think it was, just to make sure that they were on the same fuel levels to the Porsche. They didn't want Porsche to get away. They can run an extra lap or nearly 2 laps to the Audis.
That's it.
So that blue dot there that we're seeing that's stationary, that's obviously low lux. I mean Dark Lord, I should say.
Yep. Yeah, Dark Lord had a cracking first session. I think he was in third going into session 2.
No, he was actually second.
Oh,
going
second
into
was
session 2.
There you go.
Hang on. Yeah, second he was.
Oh. Yeah, and
So,
unfortunately.
but yeah, slide science. Took his time to actually get into the comfort zone in that Porsche. He ran it last year, slide science, and he was doing 58s last year. And he ended up getting a 57, I think, through the race. Oh, there's a move for the lead. Weary Knight has just taken the Porsche, coming into Arnage. I mean, not Arnage, what's it called there? The News Lane corner.
News Lane King, yep. So I've got my map up now so I can see the corner names.
That's alright. And what a view it is riding on board the top of the roof here of the Porsche. And as you can see, the morning, the sky's starting to light up a little bit. They run through the dark last night, and now they're in the early mornings. It's probably just around about 3:30 in the morning, something like that at the moment. And there's summertime over in France. Now this is Arnage here, this corner, very tight. They got to be careful about how they get the power down. As you can see, the Audi in front spinning its wheels when they engage the curves. Front wheel drive with the curves.
There's no traction control on the LMPs, is there?
No, there's not.
Yeah, so that's tricky, eh?
It is. The good thing about them being distributed on the front wheels too, if you've got a little bit of the car starting to push a little bit, coming on exit, if you hit the curves, the front wheels will actually grip in like a front wheel drive and then power the car out of the corner.
Yeah, nice.
Whereas the Toyota actually distributes the power to all 4 wheels.
Yeah, true. Darky's going to have to watch those penalties. He racked up quite a few last night, I think about 7 seconds.
There, cost him, he had a little bit more of a lead, and that reduced it right down to 4.7, I think it was about 8, or it was about 12 second, I think, lead, and came down to 4.7 or something like that.
That's it.
And then with the time compression, reduced it down to 3. Obviously, the further away you are, how the times formula goes, in case also for the man that we're going to watch shortly, Dark Lord, to take off. He's going to be leaving. Actually, he would be actually running now. So
he's gone, yep.
They were actually 10 laps behind, I think they were. 10 laps behind the leader. After they had a slide science wheel fail and had to put it into the pit. So that car there was obviously 10 laps down, many of minutes behind. But with the time compression, got him only 6 minutes. So that's only, a lap and a half.
Lap and a half, yep.
Actually behind. So from 10 laps down until a lap and a half, the time compression works. The further behind you are, the better it works for you. And so he's definitely well and truly into this race. He's got an hour 50 to try and maintain that gap. Now, if he can maintain that gap throughout this session, in that Porsche with Dark Lord, he's basically going to find himself in the final hour with a ticket of only 1 minute 23 behind the leader. So from 6 minutes to 1 minute 23, that's how a driver that's got some pace with a time compression can really come back into the race and challenge for the lead.
Yeah, that's right, eh?
Yeah, so it keeps the interest up. So the drivers, things happen with sim racing. We know you can have that unfortunate disconnects and all that, and it just makes the teams keep coming back to try and better and maybe get into a podium. And it's always a talking point. We always talk about what a great comeback that is.
Yep.
Oh, look at Darky gets the power down beautifully in that Porsche.
That was a very tight move. Well done. Missing track times too.
Nice
Lordy and Tim and Jack, 58 in the series, already into 54.7.
Wow, that's a very fast time at the moment in that BMW.
Full tank too, so he is absolutely flying.
Well, look, we've got them coming up now, up to Dark Lord in the Porsche. This is going to be a bit dicey through here. Darky's got to pick his moment, and Dark Lord has just given them plenty of room.
Yeah, they need to be a bit more casual through there.
Lap records, the GTE lapped the record by the Man Commander Series, who's doing that 54.7. He did it in a Chevrolet Corvette last year. in a 3 minutes 53.970. So that's still to be beaten yet this year. And in the LMPH Sato in the Audi that Weary's driving, well, not actually the same car, but the number 8 car, did a 3:15.392. So currently the times are around the 3:15s, I think we've seen already to this year.
Yeah, it's a bit warmer this year, isn't it?
Bit warmer, but 3:16.723 by Weary Knight for the last session. Currently holding the race lap at the moment.
What about the GTEs?
So far the GTEs we've got Dado Racer with a 3:54.333. So still a little bit faster than what Cirrus has just put down, but Dado in this race has still got the fastest lap in the GTEs.
I think if they're going to do it, this session will be the one they'll get it in. I don't think session 4 will be suitable. I think it's just too hot.
I fully agree.
Yeah.
Fully agree. Illogical. It's going to be clear skies predicted for that last run for, as Weary's just had a little bit of a wobble in the rear trying to get out of the corner onto the Muslane Straight. Into what was it? Tetra Rouge, we call it. So after your run, Illogical, what did the garage have primed up for you for dinner? Did you have some baguettes or some frog legs? Everyone's talking about some fried frog legs or KFC or something like that.
Oh, really? Oh, I went for the garlic snails.
The garlic snails, they're a very delicate French dish.
Yeah, had it once as a kid, hated it, tried it again as an adult, loved it.
There you go, an adult taste for sure.
The Commander Series is closed up on Tim and Jack's, as Weary's just dropped off the back of Darky.
Yes, and Huds is doing not a bad job either in that in the Toyota in the Notch Motorsport car. I'm just trying to have a look to see what his wait time was. 51 seconds, so he's dropped a little bit, but he would have had a bit more traffic to deal with to get through as well.
It's good to see he's been patient.
Yeah, well, he was actually after Lolux's run in the Toyota last night. They were actually a lap behind.
Okay.
So if Huds can manage to sort of be roughly around that, stay on the same lap at least, they're going to be a lot closer as well for that final run.
I think Lolux had a quicker lap time.
Yeah, he did have a quicker lap time than Huds, but I think Huds sort of ran a more consistent race in the first session.
Yep.
Yeah. But when we've only got an hour session remaining, where all the main drivers are going to probably come in and really hammer at the faster drivers, it's going to be absolutely brilliant to watch.
Absolutely.
We're obviously going to be live here on our ANZCRL Twitch channel this afternoon from around about 2:20 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. That's New South Wales Victorian time.
Yeah. The series 3:55. He's still smashing out those quick times.
Yeah, look, he's that's a big jump that he's going to be starting to pull in that time over Tim and Jack.
I think Tim and Jack might have made a mistake. 4:04. Maybe that's why he's caught up so quick.
Yeah, it could be.
But a half spin in this will cost you about 10 seconds, so that might have just been a quick loss, gather it up and go again.
Now, a big talking point is also Nürburgring in the Ford Rari, we're calling it, because it's in the Ferrari colours, and he did trick us saying that he was going to be in a Ferrari, and he's rocked up and signed up with the Ford team here in the number, I'm just trying to pick up his number, numbers 58, that's it, Team Populous, Bank Ford, and he's actually thrown a little bit more aero on during the night break.
Yeah, okay.
Before this session, so we've just found it was just a little bit off.
Okay. Yeah, he was getting great times, but I think his consistency wasn't there. So yeah, he was having spins every now and then. And Sirius's time is actually under. What's What's happened there? Oh, maybe because Tim and Jack made a... I got a penalty
So
that lap.
Both the leading classes have both already got a time penalty, so they're pushing hard. They're obviously they're feeling the pressure of the cars coming at them. They're probably looking at a little bit of the time relevance, and not. Oh, I know Darky can actually probably obviously see we're in his headlight in his rearview mirrors, but with Lloyd, he can probably see the battle going on between both Tim and Cirrus, and see Cirrus actually catching Timmy with the time relevance. Relative timing that they would have in the car on their HUD. This is going to be good just to see where Cirrus might make his move. Will he make it down the pit straight? Because it's going to be hard to make any moves in this section, and it looks like Tim and Jack has got some nice pace.
Yeah, the Aston's fast.
We'll see what
we really struggle to pass the Aston on the straights. Like, you get the run, and then the Aston will just catch back up again and stick their nose back in.
This is where Dado had this, he was really comfortable through the curves here in the Aston Martin.
Yep.
And Dado, pit strategy obviously killed him. He was right on the back of Jetto come the final pit stops, but he had to throw some tyres on with only 8 minutes remaining. Look at the run Cirrus has got out of the curves into the Ford chicane they're coming to now. He's really timing his overtake, maybe to get a good run out of the Ford chicanes onto the pit straight and try and get a run up into the Dunlop curves. Here we go, Logical. Cheer your man on.
Oh, I'm cheering.
As we got the BMW, the P51 Sim Sports team driver in the commentary box, the Logical Sports with me, Woody Lizard this morning, I should say. Here he goes, showing his nose. Making Tim and Jack sweat a little bit. What a view that is there, coming up underneath that Dunlop bridge there, Logical.
Yeah, it's gorgeous at night, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I quite like driving around here at night. There's a lot of ambient lights around too that light up certain things, and it's really awesome to see, especially in 4K.
Yeah, definitely. And the back straight when you're going through the trees.
That's it.
The lights just shining on the trees and that. So here we go. This is we're going to see a change for second position here. This lap around or not? I don't think Cirrus wants to hang around. I think he wants to move on.
Weary's all over Darky again too, so I'm not sure if something's happened there. I think Cirrus is on the wrong side of the track then. Yeah, see, even with draft, it's so hard for the BMW to get past that Aston.
Yeah, they're having a little weave, so Tim and Jack definitely doesn't want to relinquish this second spot. He's doing his best. So this is definitely race on. So even though it's an endurance race, there's still an hour 42 remaining. These guys don't want to budge. Oh, look at Tim and Jack late on the brakes, and he's had to the race line, so Cirrus had to brake that a little bit earlier as well to make sure he could make that final News Lane chicane. Now it's a very hard one to try and duck down the inside of the Mills Lane corner here, but it can be done, but you definitely need some commitment from the other driver too.
So then you got Weary and Darky in the background there.
Yeah, you can see Cirrus just having a look. He's showing the nose down the inside. This is great pressure, and Tim and Jack is holding off that pressure really well. And Matty's dusting off all the cappuccinos that he can have. Mate, he's after last night commentating and helping out in the commentary booth. He was up all night congratulating their pit crew of how ballsy they were in the P51 Sim Sport guys after the Porsche team nearly ran over their tyre changer man.
That's classic.
During one of the pit stops.
But Tim and Jack really struggled on that corner. That's right. Yeah, Tim and Jack really struggled on that corner back there at Indianapolis.
Yeah, he was there. Indianapolis, we know that the Aston Martin apparently has got to back off just a little bit earlier than most of the other cars as the leading LMP8 has come screaming by on the lead into Porsche curves. And even Cirrus wants to be dirt track cowboys out on the grass there. There's my car, doing a good job.
Now you watch Aero wash through here now.
So you may not be aware, Logical, as you were in the car when we were all talking about this, we were saying, oh, and Logical's doing well in his car, and Commander Series kept up saying, no, my car. So I said, oh, well, it's your car, is it? Oh, I think it's just as much as Logical's as your car, and he said, no, it's my car. So that's why he's now sponsored by My Car Auto.
Roger, now I get it. That's funny.
So nothing in the P51 Sim Sports team. They're both fielding the a really competitive field in the GTE class and the LMPHs, with Weary Knight in second at the moment, battling hard for the outright lead. But this battle here, the GTEs, is absolutely enthralling at the moment, with the defending race car from last year of the Aston Martin in front in second position, with the might of the BMW P51 Sim Sports car. And that jet black, absolute monster looking BMW.
Tim and Jack's doing well to defend him off.
Oh mate, credit to Tim and Jack. There's nothing harder than having some car behind you lap after lap.
Especially like this. So Sirius has gone wide a few times there. I wonder if he's got a penalty.
He's got one there up there at the moment.
Okay.
But sometimes they find if all he's got to do actually is run down the inside of the track here on the white line, on the white right-hand side or left-hand side, and it can clear itself because you're sort of actually off the track. So it comes off and comes back on, comes off the penalty.
Wish I knew that.
You obviously, yes, you can actually, I know the LMPHs, you can actually wipe the penalties by running, so that's why you might see some of the LMPHs actually running down the inside of those lines.
Yeah.
But as you come back onto the track, it reappears again. But then sometimes if you come on at the right time, Tim and Jack, fastest time at the moment through Sector 1, but he's being pushed hard by this man behind, as we know. Commander Series, he can't get much behind the between the two. Here he goes, this could be the move now.
He's committing.
And it looks like he's made it stick. He's committed, and it's also Tim and Jack has conceded that. Long race ahead now for Tim and Jack. He's going to have to see if he can try and stay on the back of this BMW.
That's it. Yeah, that was hurting Series 2 seconds slower. Or a second slower, I should say.
Yeah, but look, those last lap, they weren't too much slower. Look, they were faster than Lloyd. So they were still gaining on Lloyd, even though they were battling. So, and having Tim and Jack set his fastest first sector, I know it's not super quick at the moment, but they were still pushing one another as the fuel's coming down as well, and the tyres are up optimum. The temperature's probably at the perfect temperature for them too now. Just starting to increase from the mid to high 20s into the probably reaching the 30s shortly.
Yep. So about 15 seconds off Lloydie at the moment.
That's not too bad when Cirrus started 30 seconds behind. So look at that. Look at the man on charge on screen. We're going to have to keep an eye on that, as the lead of the LMPH still continues on, but there's still Dark Racing is leading the way, roughly 2 seconds in front of the other P51 Sim Sport team car of Weary Knight and Matty Seeking.
Matty will be cheering. That move was for our tyre changer, Matty said.
Yeah, that's right, for the tyre changing, exactly. And what we're getting at also, but I sort of lost my train of thought when we were talking about Dado making a wrong move in his pit strategy in the 2-hour session. He actually did not change tyres in the first pit stop after the hour. He actually ran the same tyres, so he ran the tyres through the hot part of the afternoon and into the evening.
Yep.
And then decided to stay on the tyres where the rest of the GTE teams actually changed tyres. So then come near the end of the race where they stopped for fuel, which was about 8 minutes remaining, his tyres were absolutely shot and he thought he was going to put it into the fence, so he had to stop and put the tyres on, which cost him an extra 20 seconds to the leading Chevrolet of Jetto and Colonel Lloyd in that number 60 RFH Corvette. So they went into the pits, they were together about 3 seconds apart and came out around about 26, 27 seconds difference.
Yeah, it would have been best to stay on the tyres maybe, just to try and keep that gap closer.
Yeah, but that would have been a whole session without changing tyres, like the whole 2 hours. He did not change tyres, so he just had to change tyres. And what I'm saying, he should have changed the tyres in that first pit stop at the hour.
Yep.
But he did it as a strategic plan as Nürburgring's into the pits. Is this maybe for damage? Oh no, actually he started low on fuel, remember? He was the only one that had to start from the previous session. He didn't fill up the fuel tanks because he stayed out to make sure he stayed on the lead lap, so he had to start on 36 litres. Okay. So look at that, came in with 0.4 of a litre, so he's timed that well. But this can work in well with him. He can actually, he can run this one now and run it all the way down to near the end, fill up, back up to full tanks, and he'll actually start the final session with a certain amount of fuel, and they're all going to have to pit near they're not going to make the full session in that final hour, the Porsche maybe, but with the pace up a lot faster than what it has been, I think the Porsche will still need to pit in the final session as well. So they're going to have to do a splash and dash the GTEs in the final session.
Yeah, well the biggest risk again is the extra lap, isn't it? Like Daytona.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yep. And definitely with Nürburgring, he's going to have to stop a little bit longer in the final session, but he's also going to have that run where the fuel tanks aren't going to be completely full for the first stanza of the race. So he may be able to put in some real quick lap times, make some gap, and then come in for the extra fuel stop that he's going to do compared to the others, where they're going to have to probably put on about 15 litres or 20 litres or so.
That's it. Yeah, I think we need about 10 in the BMW, so not much.
Yeah, it's not much. It's only useful. Look at that sun on the fence there on the outside, just starting to rise through, the sunrise.
Gorgeous.
As we've got all the campfire fog and mist and the smoke all around at the moment in the early morning, as everyone's waking up to their baguettes and crumpets and things like that.
Yeah, French roast.
Some may be even just drinking some French champagne or some bubbly, as they do. Continue all night long. One event that I think many of us would say if we had the money and we could go over there, it's one thing in our lifetime that we'd absolutely love to enjoy.
That's it.
To experience.
The where his back dropped off the back of Darkies, maybe he's just trying to settle in a little bit. The lap times are 17s and 18s, so they're definitely still quick.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Audi can definitely do 17s, but the Porsche doing 17s, that's Darky pushing very hard.
Yep.
17s, 16s from a Porsche. We know that the Audi is definitely OP to all the cars, as we can see by the lap record that currently holds for the LMPHs of a, what was it, a 315 or something like that from Sato, 315.392.
Yep.
And those fastest lap times are actually race lap records we record. We don't actually record the qualifying times as our fastest laps, the lap records.
How's Darkwood going? 357. He's on pace, so he's keeping pace with the front boys. But like you said, if he maintains this.
Well, that's just it. Look, he's 3 seconds behind Nürburgring, and he had to. He gave up over Nürburgring pretty much you could say almost actually 6 seconds. I mean not 6 seconds, 6 minutes. Sorry, to Nürburgring, because Nürburgring had to wait for 50 seconds.
Yeah, that's right.
And Dark Lord had to wait for 6 minutes 18. So you could say pretty much 6 minutes or so there. He's given up, and he's now Nürburgring's pitted, but. I think Nürburgring's showing some good pace, 57s. Tim and Jack, that last lap, 4 minutes. Nürburgring, 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Granted, Nürburgring came out of the pits. I went into the pits. This is his out lap from the pits as well. So this will be a slower lap again. The fastest GTE is the P51 Sim Sports car of Commander Cirrus on the BMW. Currently lapping 2 seconds faster, or thereabouts, just under 1.8 seconds faster that previous lap to Colonel Lloyd in the leading Corvette.
Yeah, the second a lap, he'll be there in 10 or 11 laps, so 12 laps. He's doing well.
Yeah, but so's Lloydie doing well on his own too. That's one thing on your own, and you've got that sort of gap.
Yeah.
You can only drive to numbers, and those numbers is the car behind you. and you've got no one for reference either. Like that's one thing that Cirrus had with Tim and Jack in front of him. He had a reference, braking points, the pace, the draft as well, and also just keeps you mentally stimulated as well. When you're on your own, there's none of that. So you've got to try and keep your mind in the game and keep just rolling those numbers lap after lap.
That's it. Darky lost a second there, so maybe got caught up behind Darkboard.
This is an enthralling battle. We haven't had a battle for most of our Le Mans for the LMPHs like this in the history. So throughout the race, both the Porsche and the Audi have been pretty much close together all the way through.
Yeah, driving quality's really improved, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. And in our rules for the ANZCRL Combined Racing League, if you've been in the Audi and actually won the race, you cannot return back to defend that. You have to jump in either the Porsche or the Toyota because of the earlier thing that we said, the Audi is definitely OP. But if you've run the Audi and you haven't won the race, you're free to run it again the next year. As they're just coming here to overtake Nürburger, put another lap down. I'll return the lap down on him because he actually went into the pits. Well, that would be another lap, yeah.
Yep. So it's about 6 laps in total they get up, isn't it?
What was that, sorry?
So the GTEs go about 6 laps down by the end of the race, don't they? In the 2 hour?
I'm just having a look here.
It's about 1 every 20 to 25 minutes.
Well, in the first session for the hour, there was only 2 laps difference. They did 18 the LMPHs and 16 laps for the GTEs.
Okay.
And then after the 2 hours, the total laps was 53 laps compared to 46 laps of Jetto in the Corvette. So that was, 7 laps down in total.
Okay.
So probably about 4 laps, roughly.
Okay, so about 1 every half hour.
4.5 for the 2 hour session. 4.5 to 5 laps.
Yeah, so Darky lost 2 seconds. It could have been he didn't get a penalty then, did he? He might have got a 2 second penalty.
You can always bring up the timers there. He's still only got 1 second there.
So he lost 2 seconds.
And that's what Sato did in the first session. He actually deleted his penalties as he went. He didn't actually incur any penalties throughout that hour session.
Yep.
He actually removed the penalties each time he was getting one. That's why his times are fluctuating every now and then, because even if you can run off the straight to try and delete the penalty, depends if you get a penalty through here or something, you can't really do that. You're going to have to slow down to remove it.
Yeah.
The Porsche looks so stable through the Porsche curbs, as does the Audi of the P51 Sim Sports car. Not running much aero, the LMPHs at all. Probably one aero only. They can run without aeros, especially in the hotter part of the day, where the track's a little bit hotter and the tyres are gripping up.
Oh yeah.
But during the night, they like to run at least one aero, just to plant the car down, because the track does drop a little bit, and obviously the ambient temperature's colder as well.
So you say one aero, is that any on the front or none on the front, one on the rear? Or?
One right across the board, I believe, in the Porsche. Not too sure, to balance it. It's just that you can do it without any aero, but you just can't get the power down. It's all about getting the power down out of these slower corners and out of any corner.
Yep.
And having that little bit, having more corner speed gives you that better corner exit, and then also gives you the grip that you need when you engage the curves. Because if you hit the curves and get some wheel spin in these cars, you're actually losing your curves.
Roger.
And going nowhere.
Hard's about half a lap down, just over.
Whereas the Toyota, they don't really get wheel spin because they got drive to all 4 wheels when they do KERS. You can only use KERS for a certain amount of times too during a lap, and then once you start the next lap, the amount of KERS you can use resets itself. But obviously it determines how much you've generated as well at the same time. Both the Porsche generates on the straights and during braking. The Audi behind there is only on brakes only.
Oh, right.
And the Toyota is on brakes, and it does really well under the brakes, it generates, and it comes up just very slightly on acceleration, not much. But the Porsche generates a lot of KERS still on the accelerator. While the wheels are in motion, it's generating.
Wasn't aware of that. So how much is it? Obviously, they get a lot more under braking though than just generally going down the straight.
No, the Porsche doesn't. It's more the straights it gets it. It does get it on the brakes as well, but the obviously the other 2 cars get a lot more under brakes because that's where they generate all their KERS.
Okay.
So there's different strengths for the different cars.
That's interesting.
So Huds has now blown his time to be about 2 minutes behind at the moment of these leading pair.
Yeah, it's dropped.
That Toyota
Dropped a minute, hasn't he?
Yeah, almost a minute. He had he has actually had a 51-second wait time. Oh, he's had an accident. The leading Porsche has been in the wall. He's lost all front, and you're going to find him coming into the pits. He's had a massive moment in the Porsche curves. The camera caught it. We were on there, but the camera didn't show it, so it was just off shot. Look at that. Look, the whole front has just been ripped off. So now he's going to have to be out. And look who's taking advantage at the same time. This is around the time. What fuel load has they're on? They must be almost due for fuel.
10 litres.
No, they could have gone again.
3 litres.
They could have. Weary Night had to come in. But I'd say Darky, maybe if something went wrong there, maybe he was trying to change a few settings on the fly, or just got it all wrong. Instantly, the front end goes on. The electricals have been plugged in. That was just supersonic by the pit crew. But he's going to have a lot wait time there for that repairs to happen. So you'll see Weary Night. He'll gain a lot of time here. Big changer in the race this moment. You'll see Weary Night leave, and he'll leave Dark Racing there in the pit lane.
Yeah, I tell you, these cars are extremely
moment.
fragile. Like
they are, but that was a big moment that I had.
Yeah, I only grazed the wall last night with the nose of the car and wrecked my suspension completely.
Wow.
The Weary's
so there
gone.
goes Weary, and painstakingly Darky has just got to sit there and wait. And his fuel load's only at 62.5, so it hasn't been filled right up either.
Sounds like a Porsche.
Yeah, that's of Dark Lord going through.
So we'll see that damage for the rest of the race, even though it's perfectly fixed.
So you can just see how the front end still looks a bit bent, but it has been fixed up. It's probably a reused front end. It's the best they can use because the weekend they probably couldn't get any more. But he'll have full aero, everything will be fine on his end. It's just the visuals that we're seeing, but definitely he didn't have a front end when he came in, but he's got it back on now.
Yep.
But it's strange that his fuel load didn't get filled right up, so something's happened there.
What is
Maybe
a full
he
tank?
reduced the fuel. I'm not 100% sure on there, but saying 63.5, that wouldn't be a full tank. It would be either 65 or maybe higher than that. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
Might be about 65. Could be 64. Maybe it was just because he was sitting there idling that they used a bit. I don't know.
Yeah. He's pushing hard now too.
As Huds comes in for his stop too. He could have gone another lap. They really got to think about this, the Toyota crew. They should have stayed out because it's really a fuel game now. The less time you've got to be in the pits, especially near the end, to have that full tank ready for session 1. They just got to try and inch out, get every little bit of fuel out that they can.
Serious now, 8 seconds. So still closing the gap slowly. although Lordy's brought down his lap time. Fuel's coming off.
They're both in the 56s there. As it's starting to warm up here at the Circuit de la France, is it called, or what? De la Sarre, I should say. They like to call it at Le Mans.
You happy for me to leave the speed on?
That's a Toyota. The Toyota definitely looks like, whatever you want to do. I don't care. It's, I think Darky has it off, but he'll be to control the final session.
Yep.
I like to have it on because we know the fuel levels as we go, and it's good for the viewers. As Huds just lets the P51 Sim Sports BMW GT go by as he's coming out and gets settled back into the new fuel load of the car. Knowing he can breeze by very shortly. But this is holding him up, Huds, as well. Maybe he shouldn't have been so kind, but he's going to have to do this now and just hold behind before he can get onto the Mills Lane straight. And off he goes. It's a great sounding car, that Toyota.
Isn't it? Look at the size difference too.
Yeah, they are. They're really small and squat, especially that big BMW, probably the biggest car on the track.
Yep.
This weekend. So you look at that, 61 litres or so of fuel for Huds, and what we were saying, Darky had some different number. I can't remember what it was. So
63.5.
Yeah, so maybe there was 64, and just for some reason it just came up as 63.5. I don't know. And as you can see, everyone's starting to push. There's a lot of time penalties there in the from 2nd to 6th. On your screen you can see they're not too much, they're only 2-second penalties I think from when we saw last, so they'd be just little slowdowns that they weren't getting rid of by extending the track limits.
Yeah, I found sometimes they would just disappear really easy and others would just hang around forever, and then you might clip just through here especially, you might just go over a little bit like that and then bam, 2 seconds.
Yeah. And it's definitely a part of the track that you gain a lot of time. If you can jump some of those curbs, look at that. So Nürburgring there, it already just shows he jumped those curbs quite good. And that was his fastest lap of the race so far with a 56.337. That's a 3-minute 56. So it just shows you how much time you can be made through the forward chicanes if you actually use the curbs. But you've got to also get right to the limit of the track limits there to gain every little bit of milliseconds you can get.
Yeah.
So Tim and Jack, they're 16, 17 seconds now to roughly behind Cirrus after the big battle that he had for around about 20 minutes.
Yep.
Held his nerve, and now he just can relax a little bit, knowing that he's got Nürburgring well and truly behind him, and he can just run his own race now, and they'll be starting to look forward to having a little break while they come into the pits. Get their mind reset again.
Yeah, well, they got probably three laps. No, 2 laps. And they will be pitting.
Something like that. Close. Yeah, probably 2 laps because they won't quite get the 3. They'll be. You'll have to fuel conserve. That's what happened there. Illogical.
Oh, my fuel gauge.
That was a big moment last night.
Yeah, fuel gauge at 8.4, and as soon as I crossed the line, it all just vanished.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if people didn't see the stream last night, he obviously had his teammate Commander Cirrus helping me in the stream and in the commentary booth, and Cirrus is going illogical in the pits, and he kept staying on the track out of the forward chicanes, or going through the forward chicanes and onto the pit straight. He's like, no, he's not going to make it, and that's what we said. He's going to have to clutch it and go easy. So on our monitors, we could see that you're at 6 litres roughly, and knowing that you need around about 6.7, 6.9 to complete a lap, knew it was going to be touch and go. So you didn't do a champion, but you almost did.
Oh, it was scary.
Doing a champion, he's running out of fuel.
Yeah, I went straight to lean. I was clutching down the straights. I think it cost
Isn't
me.
it hard when you clutch, or like when you're coasting into the corners too? Like sometimes you even outbrake yourself.
Yeah.
Just your mental, like your memory of knowing when you come off the throttle and onto the brake on a certain part of the track. But if you're coasting through there, you want to coast a little bit further because you don't have that top speed that you normally would.
No, that's it.
So you coast a little bit further than what you think you should, and next thing you know, you're struggling to pull the thing up.
Yeah, and then also when you re-engage the clutch again, sometimes it can lock up a little bit.
Yes. So the LMPHs have all had their first mandatory, they're scheduled, I wouldn't say mandatory, but scheduled pit stops. So they're out and about now to run for the next 40 minutes or so before they're going to have to come back in. And Commander Cirrus with a bigger fuel tank of the BMW, but as we said, they're running roughly 6.8 to 6.9 litres a lap. So in saying that, he's got another 3 laps at least. This one and maybe 2 more.
Yep. Yeah, we're just short of the full hour session, which is a shame.
Yeah, it's the same as the BMW. The BMW can almost do the full hour, but if they have to do that little bit extra of a lap, depending where the LMPHs are, they fall foul. And that's unfortunately what happened to me back in 2019 with my teammate Lockie, 5.5s. He was driving the car, and unfortunately we found we had to do 1 extra lap than what we planned, and ran out on that last lap.
Ah, that's harsh. Yeah, well, even experienced drivers like Darky this year, hey, like at Daytona.
That's right. Yep.
You do your best, but you get caught out sometimes.
Well, as we said, sometimes we just know if you can get those funny where you think if you get 1 more lap than your competitor, it may just benefit later on over these long distance races.
That's it.
So we basically also, with 2 minutes remaining, we'll run through the list from the leading LMPH car then to the GTE class. We'll go from first down to 5th, and we'll record all their fuel loads, and that's the fuel load they must start on. If they the only way that if they have entered the pit lane, and we were going to record their time, obviously we would think that they've got a full tank, but we'll come back to them. And we'll record that level once they come out of the pit lane, and that's the fuel level that they start on for the final session.
That's it.
That brings a bit of fuel strategy into the game this year. We did it at, as you were saying earlier there, Logical at Daytona, the 24-hour, and it seemed to work really well.
Oh, it's a great strategy,
Highlander, yeah, Highlander and Simo, they ran their own race in the LMP2 cars and didn't pit at the end of the first hour session, and they end up going through and winning the whole race as well. So they didn't really worry about topping their tanks up at the end, which a lot of the other cars did.
Yeah, that cost us a lot, me and Weary.
Yeah, so there's different strategies that can play out, and if you've got the pace, sometimes it's better just to say, oh, well, we'll just run our race and we'll just go with it, you know, and see what happens, because the reason why guys will pit near the end to make sure they got full tanks is because the time they lose in the pits, the time compression will they'll avoid that time. So they obviously then will start a lot closer than if they had to pit sometime in the next session, where all that time in the pit lane will actually cost them.
So we've got Darky catching up to Commander Cirrus, and Commander Cirrus is catching up to Lloydie. That's all happening in front of us here. Try and check my audio to make sure it's not crackly, but you can hear it, so.
Yeah, I think it should be alright. No one said anything, so we've got Matty seeking there. He'll let us know if it's not any good. And there's a few other viewers watching at the moment. May not be in front of a keyboard or something to type away, but I think your audio should be okay.
Yep.
The sound of that Corvette still in the lead of this motor race, but only 2 seconds in front of the BMW, who's making an absolute charge in the first hour. Well, we won't say the first hour, it's the first hour of this session, but it's hour 4 of this 6-hour race in total.
Yeah, I can't
simulate the full 24 hours.
I get over how quick Cirrus is in this car. Like we were running identical tunings, and I couldn't do what he's doing.
Yeah, it's all about, as Darky, I don't think it was Darky, it was one of the other GTE drivers was saying, it's all about the finesse, you know, of driving these cars too, because you're running the minimal aero that you want to run.
Yeah.
And the heat, you don't want to generate that heat in the tyres either. They cool down, obviously, down these long straights, but you're running soft tyres and on track temperatures of excess of 40, it's all about nice inputs and getting the correct line.
Yeah, push curves is really bad. They're really overheating there. And if you get aero wash and your tyres are overheating, it gets really sketchy.
Oh, definitely. By the end of that and into the end of the four chicanes, I could just imagine it'll just be four chicanes. Not so much, I guess, because they're a bit slower. But yeah, the tyres would be absolute mush coming out of the end of the Porsche curves. You can see Colonel Lloyd will be in this lap, whereas Commander Cirrus will actually take lead of the GTE class because he can stay out. And as we're talking about fuel numbers, there's no use him coming in and following Lloydie. He may as well keep going for as long as he can on that fuel, because it's going to benefit. He's going to have a shorter stop at the end of this session, because as we were talking, everyone want to have full tanks for the start of the final session, unless you're chasing the pack. But these leading cars will obviously want to be on full tanks to start the final hour.
So the Corvette last year was doing, I think, 54, 55s. Obviously the best was in the 53s.
Yeah.
I think start full tank was 56s, so the hotter conditions definitely made for a slower lap times.
Slower lap times, but the best that Jedi could get out of the Corvette last night, I think he was faster. Was a 54.832 compared to the Aston Martin with the 54.333.
Yeah.
Nice sauce, the 3.3s, if you ever had that. Nice tomato sauce and pickles.
I don't think I've had that one.
That from the supermarket?
No, I don't think I have.
They're nice. Oh, look at that. It's one of the LMPHs. Dark Racing makes a move on your man, Commander Cirrus, coming into the Porsche curves. Oh, this is close. He's pushing hard. That's going to be maybe a slowdown penalty for Darky as he's running off the track there a little bit. He may have to slow down, but Lloydie wanted to come into the pits there. That's why he didn't want to try and stay off from the right-hand side of the track.
Oh, he's copping all the penalties. Darky needs to just take a deep breath.
That's it, but just think there he is. He's undoing that penalty. That's what he's doing there, guys. Thinking, why is he running on the sand there? He's trying to come off and remove that penalty he would have picked up going wide, passing Colonel Lloyd. As Colonel Lloyd, the race leader, has gone into the pits of the GTE class. See how efficient they can run. Hopefully they don't have a tyre issue like Shane Van Gisbergen yesterday in the V8 Supercars. Cost him the charge to try and take victory. And he run into the V8 Supercars. I think know that he was going to have a good challenge with Chaz Mostert.
Yeah, so it comes more than just the driver, isn't it? The whole team that makes a winning car.
Oh, definitely. As Tim and Jack, he's in. He wasn't going to get another fuel run, another lap. The two loudest cars on the grid come by in pit lane. Wakes everyone up. Everyone should be awake by now. They're probably finishing up their breakfast now.
I'll just catch some traffic.
We've been running for 53 minutes. Oh, if we want to really talk about it, it'll be 3 hours and 53 minutes. Maybe 54, because we started this session after doing 3 hours, 1 minute and 44 seconds. For 53 laps for the leading LMPHs. Race lap distance is 110 laps. We're not on pace for that. Last year's was 108. With the hotter conditions, I think we may not reach that 108, as this is Cost Huds here with a Porsche in front. This is where they need to use their comms just to let them know where they're going to come through as well. In a race chat together.
He's being patient, which is good.
Yeah, so we're predicting probably about 107 laps this year compared to the 108 last year. Last year's pace with the Audis of Sato and Dark Racing, and then also Got Gecko and what was that? Aussie Carters.
Yep.
They set the track alight. They will just the lap times that they'll do on lap after lap in those Audis. I don't think they got out of the 317s pretty much.
Wow.
And the track wasn't as hot either.
Yeah, the tyres are definitely struggling in these conditions. It makes it good though, it makes it really unpredictable. And it's changing throughout the session too, going up and down.
And the tyres have different graining periods as well. You might get a lap or 2 laps where all of a sudden, I've got some grip, and then all of a sudden it just falls. You think, where's the grip gone?
Yeah. So after Tim and Jack's pit, Nürburgring's caught right up 5 seconds behind, but obviously they're on different pit strategies.
Yeah, but that's just showing how hard Nürburgring's running, and with that little extra aero, it's probably really settled his car down there, and that's what we're saying. It's probably giving him that better mid-corner grip and speed.
Yep.
And he's able to continue that speed. He's going to lose top-end speed, but it's all about having that average speed more than just the top-end speed. So he's probably benefiting from that already.
That's it. There should be pitting.
Oh, as he's come in now. This is where Will thinking, you're not going to make it, mate. You had the same amount of fuel and you're on the other side of the track, mate.
I can't believe it. Blew my mind. 8.4 and then it literally just vanished after I crossed the start finish line. Fuel just vanished down to like 6.1, 6.2 litres, so it must have caught up.
Yeah, it's crazy how that happened. Game's getting fairly old too. It's never had any updates for a long period of time too, so it seems to have a few little as all the consoles are updating and get more powerful and updates constantly on all the consoles.
Yeah.
The game's not been updated to correspond with any of the updates, so there could be a few little bugs just creeping in here or there in the programming of the game. Why the developers normally keep updating is usually because there's updates on consoles and things like that, and there's a few little bugs come in. And they update, do a patch for them.
Oh, we've got a whole new console now, don't we?
Yeah, well, a lot of us, I actually was lucky enough to have a few funds been set aside, and I finally found a Series X. Been chasing EB games for a while, and was lucky enough to ring them on Friday afternoon and said, have you got one? And they said, actually Thursday afternoon.
Yep.
This week. Just gone, and they said, yeah, actually we got 3 ready for any walk-ins. I said, all right, well, I'm coming on in.
Yeah, nice.
And went in and picked it up and booted it up, and here I am with it operating now.
Seriously, just leaving pits.
Yeah, so with Jeddo in second, I mean not Jeddo, Lloyd. I've been used to that car being Jeddo, but it's now Lloydie. Birthday boy, we would like to wish him a happy birthday, yep. Colonel Lloyd.
Happy birthday, Lloydie.
That's exactly right. So in that chat there, if you're hearing and you can type away, maybe give a little message to Lloydie. Obviously, he'll be a bit sweaty underneath. He's always about looks as well. He likes to have his hair done neat and comes out with those Ray-Bans every time. He'll take his race helmet off and he'll already have those Ray-Bans on. Maybe he got a new pair of Ray-Bans for his birthday.
Maybe.
I'm impressed by Nürburgring at the moment. Closing the gap on Tim and Jack. As we said, he's on a different fuel strategy, but he's bringing himself right into the game for this final hour, and that's what it's about. As his Dark Lord behind him, he's keeping that gap to what he wants at the moment.
Yeah, he's Dark Lord 355, so he's definitely got great pace.
Yeah.
With any luck, he'll close it up a little bit more than what we expected. But Lloydie's about 7 seconds behind Cirrus now.
Yeah, so Cirrus actually, that last lap that he did, like the in lap, the 2 laps or the 1 lap extra or whatever he did, he was absolutely flying too. So like his in lap was a 4 second, whereas we seen Nürburgring's in lap within the Ford car, the GTI Lamb was a 4:04.
Yep.
So, we know Cirrus has been faster in that BMW, but it just shows you that in lap was roughly 4 seconds faster than one of his other competitors.
Yep.
I didn't see Lloydie's in lap, but his out lap is a 5:17, so we can compare that maybe.
I think his in lap was a 4:02, I recall.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, so that's how fast Cirrus is going at the moment. So he's gained 2 seconds there, and we'll see what his out lap's going to be compared to the 5:17 of Colonel Lloyd.
Hut's behind. Looks like Hut's got a bit sideways into that corner then, but I didn't see any smoke, so maybe it's just my animations.
Yeah, the animations of the game. Sometimes all of a sudden the cars jerk around every now and then as it goes on. Oh, the camera shake. As we see Weary Knight still in front, 21 second, holding a very nice, comfortable lead at the moment. After Darky, just before the round of pit stops that he's scheduled for, put it into the right-hand wall in their direction of the Porsche curves. Totally ripped the front end of his car off. And look at this, the penalties. The only car that has been a good boy is the man that we're just watching, Weary Knight, is the only one without a time penalty, and he's leading the race as well. So this is great control and composure by the P51 Sim Sports driver, Weary Knight.
No, Weary's unstoppable. He's consistency and speed. He's everything all in one. Incredible. Hats off to him. Even in ACC, he just picks it up and just goes.
Yep. Some people have the knack of it, and yeah, he's doing a great job. The only thing is, might be under investigation after the organised qualifying to set the grid. He just made a comment, said, "Oh, I just got to go reset my wheels." So was that an illegal wheel he was attaching to that the Audi there, or with a bit more go faster buttons? We don't know.
You put the Toyota wheel in, get that all-wheel drive.
That's it, yeah. That's it. Oh, well, he hasn't got the all-wheel drive because we've been still seeing that car smoke the front wheels. Oh, no, Tim and Jack.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
He's had a moment.
At least he can duck straight into the pits. No, doesn't want to.
No, maybe just see what he can still do if it's costing him any time. But look at this. This is what. Oh, I was going to just say the Porsche of Dark. Well, this is what he wants to see. He's gaining. If he can, like this, he wants to overtake these. He's gaining laps on the guys as he's going. So
yeah,
though it's not for the position, he knows he's bridging that gap. So the time compression is going to bring him right into it. And a podium is definitely on the cards for this Porsche team after they were 10 laps down earlier in the race.
But Lordy, if you're watching this back, Matty Seekins wishing you happy birthday.
Yeah, everyone in Logical Sports, yourself, you've given him a happy birthday as well. We're all giving happy birthdays to the man driving the number 60 RFH, currently second, chasing down the BMW. And here comes Dark Lord to put a lap on Tim and Jack. And Tim and Jack with that front aero too, his top end speed's going to be down. Porsche's made light work of that Aston Martin, and normally that is not normal.
No, he should be hitting nearly
see that.
295, getting close to 300, so he's nearly 10 kilometres short.
Yeah, so maybe a pit stop for just damage repair is what's needed. I think if he's going to try and last the next, what would it be, roughly around about 50 minutes before he has to pit again, if he's going to go around losing that time in that 50 minutes, that pit transition may just be a little bit better for him to do that, and also he's going to have a better stable car.
Yeah, it could change the whole strategy. It might even work out for them. A shorter stop in the last session.
So there's the birthday boy there in second still. Is he been catching Cirrus?
No, he's about a second.
So Cirrus's outlap was slower. So did I say, or was it a 5.17 or a 5.7 for Lloydie, did I say? I can't remember now. It could have been a 5.17.
I can't remember.
So maybe it was Cirrus. Yeah, maybe Cirrus is actually on 7 seconds faster on that outlap. Or it could be that he was about 3 seconds slower. So I knew there was a 7 there somewhere for Lloydie on his outlap. But talk about 7s, he's done a 3.57 on his next flyer.
Yep. He's back onto his pace again. He's got Nürburgring now catching up, 40 seconds behind. But Nürburgring will be pitting again soon.
Yeah, Nürburgring's going to have a few more laps. He's going to probably pit with around about that 40 minutes remaining, I reckon. Maybe he's going to have to try and get as much out of this tank as he can though, because he doesn't want to have to pit 2 more times, only the one, and then run it to the flag, I think, and then start off with a mid fuel tank.
Yep.
Maybe of the final session, the final hour, and then take it to the empty, and then he'll just have to stop longer than the other guys, but he'll have that bit of track position as well.
And Ducky is slowly gaining on Weary. He's up 2 seconds from what I last saw. That's over been about 5 or 6 laps.
So did you hear that from down in the pit bunker there in the pit garage? Someone's been shouting from the P51 SimSport garage. Can we see the penalties, please?
Yeah.
So there we go. We've having a look at most of them across the board are 2 minutes. Cirrus is the man that they're really worried about. Obviously the P51 SimSport guys is 1 second penalty, but that's less than anyone else in the GTE class, so he's looking good. And then talking the LMPH's P51 SimSports, well, he's got none, Weary Knight. He's been controlling this race to a T.
But Tim's come in to repair that damage now.
Yeah, I think that's the right decision as Dark Lord's in as well. I don't know why he's in. Was it damage or was it just normal fuel? Actually, it would be fuel because he's this is his first pit stop.
Oh, yep. Yeah, wow, that can run a while, can't it? So if he tops up at the end, he won't even need.
Remember, he had to wait 6 minutes though.
Oh, true, yes.
Yeah. But he's done just over an hour in that car. So that's what the Porsche can do that.
Yeah.
But if you have to go over the hour, which you do have to do if the LMPHs do another lap, obviously, that's another 4 minutes. So you just can't make the next extra lap.
That's it.
And we've seen that the sessions have been just going just over the hour, so they would finish, but they've been doing like an hour. Let's have a look. I'll just pull up from the first session. They were doing about an hour, 2 minutes or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, an hour, 2 minutes or so. So they would have probably been able to do it on the one fuel tank there, but they would have had to do some fuel conserving to get there to the end because he's only just done that then, just on the hour.
Okay.
So trying to get an extra 2 minutes with half a lap for these GTEs, probably not enough fuel to go full flat chat the whole way.
Yep. But Lordie's 401 might have had a bit of an incident there somewhere. I tell you what though, just washing out on one corner can cost you 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Pierce is still pumping out 355, so he's comfortable up there.
Be interesting what the track temperature is now. This heavy cloud, just looking out of the commentary booth, has rolled over after all this smoke and the haze is all cleared away from the track as it's starting to warm up still.
Just wondering if I can see that. There's quite a
bit of high, heavy clouds around. May benefit the GTEs.
He's gained 3 seconds since we last saw him.
Well, yeah, we looked at it before. It was 21 seconds behind, and he's now bridged that gap to just bordering on the 15 seconds. So 6 seconds over since the pit stop. Since the pit stop, because they both pitted at the same time. Darky could have probably got an extra lap, but he had to pit there because he absolutely totaled the front end of his car through the Porsche curves.
So you got to assume that was sorting out his strategy, hey? Getting distracted.
Could have been, yeah. Car's been so stable through there, so yeah, obviously he's had some sort of distraction. Maybe it could have been Ethan, you don't know. Ethan is his son, and within our group we'll have a bit of a laugh because we hear Ethan a lot when we're playing on throughout our race series.
That's it.
All our race series is run on a Sunday night from 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Currently running a team endurance championship featuring the LMP3 cars and GT4. And then after that is our big one, the V8 supercars. Both myself and Logical Sports, but we'll be stepping up to the big game after coming first and second in the Super 2 division last year.
How great was that?
Great team effort. It was great. And something that we're all proud of, and we're going to go on to the big boys on the Sunday night. The Super 2 guys will be running on a Saturday night. All the info will be on our website, aus-nzcrl.weebly.com. That will be up in the next fortnight. Within the fortnight, we'll obviously try and get it done up as soon as we can for all the information. We're actually it's going to be the American tour of the V8 supercars. So we're going to be featuring all the American tracks.
Yeah, so fun, the V8s there.
They're a wild card to drive, but there's a certain way to drive them to get them fast and to also enjoy them. Once you know how to drive those cars, they're a lot of fun. I think that's the good thing about what Project Cars have done. They didn't make every car the same. It doesn't matter what car you jump in. There's different ways to drive them and get them to go fast as well.
Yeah, even between the different makes, which is really good. They've really captured.
Yeah.
Like
it may not be captured in real life, but they've actually obviously captured that variation, I think, of the cars. And and we know the V8 supercars are, people, overseas drivers that are used to these GT3 cars or the DTM and all that sort of stuff come over to drive the supercars and they say, geez, this is a wild beast, like they just can't believe how slidey they are, and it's exactly what you get in the game, and how much power you've got to the rear wheels, and the rear wheels aren't wide either, they're narrow, wide wheels. So it's all about driver input, and you can use the tyres, the rear tyre, the rear end of the car to help you turn around the corners, but give it too much and you will 360 and loop it and be smoking the backs up.
That's it. So much fun. The Lordy's losing time, obviously just in his laps, in his pace. He's down to 10 seconds now.
I think we can guarantee now that he hasn't been foxing in any of his practice. He's been really struggling to try and get down into the 56s. He's been averaging the 57s quite a while, been looking at them.
Yeah.
He has touched the 56s, and I don't know if he got a 55 earlier or not, but if we bring up the chart, we may see his best lap. If you want to just bring up the race timings again, we can quickly go through that. It was a 56.6 is his best, compared to Cirrus's 54.6. Not quite the lap record yet, but getting very close. It's a 54.333. As he's just done his best lap there, so Lloyd is doing the 56.5s now. That heavy cloud may be really good for the track at the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not heating up to the 40 degrees yet.
It's cooling off and helping the tyres stick.
See the rear brakes and fully locked up. He slid into that corner, drift style.
Yeah, if you get too much speed out of Dunlop curve and don't get on the brakes early enough,
That's it. This track, as much as you think, there's the key corners and you can try and concentrate on them, but if you get them wrong, your lap time is totaled, and it's, for the GTEs, nearly a 4-minute lap time until you can get back around and correct that, and the LMPH is a good 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes before you can reset and try and get that time again. So, it is a difficult track, and it's very, very mental. You've got to always be on it. Obviously, you get to time to relax a little bit down the straights, but the pace of these LMPHs, before you know it, you've got to think about your braking and turn in of the chicanes and everything like that.
Yep.
And all nowadays with the KERS, you've got to activate the button. You're doing that. You're managing that because sometimes they're not using it all. You know, like there's some certain parts of the circuit that they're using all the KERS available to them until they have to regenerate the full KERS again. And then other times they're only using probably 3/4 of it just to have a little bit left over for other parts of the track that they're going to need it.
Yeah, so where his lap times are down, so I wonder if he's getting caught up in traffic or if he's backed off, he's trying to play it real safe.
Well, he's coming in the pits right now because he's on that limit of that fuel, but you could just see he's past, he was coming up to some GTEs, but it doesn't look like he actually had any for a long period of time.
Okay.
Because the car behind him on that white dot is actually Dark Racing 40. The blue dots are the GTE cars, or the cars that are a lap down from him.
Dark is good for another lap.
Darky should be able to get another 2 more laps. So that's where the that early pit stop for that damage has really killed their session here, because he could have actually probably have done that 2 extra laps there. He came in probably either a lap or 2 laps too early to fix damage and then fuel.
Yeah.
And he's going to also, I think so that could have been 4 laps in total better than on fuel compared to Weary that he would have had. So that means a shorter stop to fill up the tanks at the end of this session. If they're going full tanks, that's what they'll be doing. They'll be stopping to make sure their tanks are full. He would have stopped probably the same amount of times, because the Porsche actually has to fill up a lot more. It takes that stopped a little bit longer because there's a bigger fuel tank.
Yep.
Compared to the Audi. So the Audi doesn't have to stop as long to fill up its tanks.
Alright, so I have some insider knowledge for you. So Weary did make contact with the GTE somewhere.
Okay. So he's out of the pits now, and roughly 46 seconds by the looks of that behind Dark Racing. With Darky still needing to pit in the next 2 laps, or lap and a half, I should say.
And they'll still need to pit again before the end, won't they?
Well, they'll pit for full to have the tanks full. They'd be silly not to now for the run to the flag. And that's what Highlander and that did in the Daytona. They made sure that their tanks were full for the final session as well.
Okay.
So during the first 3 sessions, the 5 hours of racing, they just ran their own race. They didn't worry about topping up their tanks or anything like that at the very end. They just kept going.
Yeah. Hud's still got a few laps left. Hud might go a lap down. He can't pick up the pace a little bit.
Yeah, falling a lap down. Obviously, it's going to hurt their final run to the flag. It's going to drop them down roughly 40 seconds, 45 or 50 seconds. He was to start this lap, and he was actually, they were a lap in about, I'm just trying to think how far they were behind. I think they were another like 15 seconds after the lap behind of the second session, which gave him that 51-second wait time. So, yeah, if he can, that's why he wanted to really try and stay on the lead lap, because that 51-second lap wait time would have reduced down to probably around 40 seconds to give Lolux a good chance to maybe give a little bit of cheek if the two, because as we know, these Porsche and the Audi are both neck to neck at the moment, and they're fighting outright victory. If they come together and have like what Darky did, he put it into the barriers at Porsche curves, and that's all that Lolux will need in the Toyota if he can have a real short wait time to be right on the back of Darky, and then Darky would have to have that pit for damage, and bang, seconds for the Toyota.
Yeah, okay.
And let's not talk any give bad luck to anyone, but if the two of the leaders come together and actually have to pit unscheduled, we could have a Toyota victory here this afternoon.
That's it, you never know.
Got to be in it to win it, as we all say.
And Matty's just confirmed that they have a number that they want for their fuel level for last session, so they're obviously working to a strategy.
Definitely working to numbers, and this is what's great, leading up to these special events. Some of these teams have painstakingly gone through numbers, done some testing, put out different scenarios, and that's all the excitement of actually even just the running of the event. You know, just being part of it, and all those sort of lead ups to the event. That's why these events so held high in a high regard amongst the ANZCRL Combined Racing League.
Yep. Had a thought then, but I lost it, so never mind. Darkwood's only just shy of a lap down, so he's going to really close in on that last session, isn't he?
Oh yes, he is. Like a lap down, 4 minutes. That's no time at all of waiting. I don't have the formula to just put in the numbers, but if you're 2 minutes down, you're 33 seconds, and as I said, the further behind, the better that will be. So you could imagine, say, 4 minutes behind.
Yep.
It won't be 1 minute 6 seconds. It'll probably be actually like 55 seconds or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait time. And who's this coming up behind him? Is this Huds or one of the...
Weary, I think.
It's Weary, yep. The race leader. Actually, not the race leader. Darky's leading at the moment, but Darky's going to probably be in the pits this lap.
Yeah, he's going to be close. Yep. I just keep coming back to Nürburgring with that relative time playing up for some reason.
Yeah, his time does play up a little bit weird, but he's on there, it's saying 34 seconds up on the top centre, away from Lloydie, who's currently second. And we know he's not that too far away from Weary. But I just what was that fuel level? Was that pretty low where Nürburgring's going to be coming into the pits this lap?
Yeah.
Will be.
Yep.
So that's going to bridge that gap, and he's going to come back towards Tim and Jack, but he should get out before Tim and Jack.
There he goes.
So he should hold on to third. That's a great comeback drive from Nürburgring at the moment. Weary taking the outside. He threw in Indianapolis there of the GTE car of Tim and Jack, who's currently fourth in class. All's not lost for Tim and Jack though, and the Aston Martin crew, the number of the Besman racing car.
No, certainly not.
We've seen how fast Dado Racer was in that 2 hour session, and in an hour session, that's just a sprint for the old statesman. So, mate, he's going to be keen to get in behind the wheel of that Aston Martin.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
and
surprised.
See what he can do.
Lap record. How hard he'll be pushing.
That's right. And there's Porsche. And Nürburgring's in as well, so he's got his tank filled up.
I'm doing something.
So I did say that Nürburgring would be in around about 40 minutes remaining. That's about 37, so he could run that all the way to the end.
Yep.
Or he may, it won't hurt him actually to have a splash and dash at the end with all the other GTEs as well, because he won't have to stop nowhere near as long as the other GTEs either.
Yeah, okay.
And use the time compression to basically take away that pit stop that he's even taken, you know.
Yeah.
And he'll actually be on full tanks, and he'll be in the same strategy as all the other GTE cars for the final hour.
That's it. Yeah, definitely got to take advantage of time compression.
Yeah, and that's what I totally forgot about that. His stop time will be a lot less than compared to all the other cars.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to be smart about it though. Like, I wasn't in the Daytona with Weary with the LMPs. Yeah, like you said earlier, Highlander and Simo didn't stop in that first session at the end.
Yep.
And I shouldn't have either. I miscalculated my fuel and thought I had to have a lot less.
So here we go. This is what we were just saying. Tim and Jack were just going to be on the tail of Nürburgring when he came out of the pits, and it's come that way. So Nürburgring will not be wanting to give way here if he can, but Tim and Jack's got a nice run in that Aston Martin with a tow, and he's got plenty of time to pull back over and get the braking line. Nice move by the Aston Martin. As Nürburgring's trying to get his tyres, they come out already heated up, but maybe the pressure's maybe a little bit higher than what he's been running, so they just got to wait for him to stabilise again.
Which car's quicker down the straight, do you think? The Aston or the Ford?
Well, we haven't seen. I think the Aston Martin has always been told to have a lot of grunt, so I'd say the Aston Martin, and it seems to be holding his own there, even in the draft with Nürburgring behind him. I think the Aston Martin is the car you want to be behind to help you tow yourself down the straights, and I think that's what happened with Cirrus. I think that's why he didn't want to stay behind him, but he was probably getting a good run.
Yeah.
Being behind the Aston Martin as well earlier on in this session.
Yeah, I found with a great exit, used the draft, got up next to Tim and Jack, and then he just took off again. And overtook me again down the straight, so yeah. I reckon Nürburgring would just hang around in the back here and they would work together to try and get back up to the field.
Yeah, they could be doing that as Huds has come in for the Toyota, but that was a great view when we were on board Nürburgring then following the Aston Martin for a while. It's great visuals that you can see throughout.
I think you can drop down to about a second and still hold on to that draft.
Yep, definitely.
So that's something to consider, like not having to be so close and risk it.
Yeah, especially through the Porsche curves. But I think you're probably anywhere from just once you start extending the gap to around about 2 seconds, you may not get, you get a little bit of an effect, but nothing as if you're about a second behind.
Yeah.
Or within a second anyway. But the Ford GTLM, I'm pretty sure that car was built for Le Mans, wasn't it? When it first came out.
Oh, really?
Model I'm not 100% sure, but I don't know if that's why they built it for the challenge for Le Mans.
Okay.
Or if it was just something for the ANZCRL series that obviously it runs in as well. As Huds exits pit lane.
I just felt like it was in there for a long time, so I wanted to check how she was fitting out.
So Weary Knight is still controlling this race after the change of the pit stops with Dark Racing 40.
Yeah, and Huds is a lap down now too. So maybe Tim and Jax has got the better pace there. But it fluctuates.
Yeah, he's definitely, and Nürburgring's just got a full tank as well.
Yeah.
So that's swishing around the car there. A lot of these cars benefit from about a mid-fuel tank, so that's probably where Tim and Jack is right at this moment, roughly around there. 3/4 to a mid of a tank. As you can see there's the roundabout signs. There's a couple there. These cars are actually running on public roads. That's why it is fairly bumpy, especially down the Mills Lane straight and different sections of the track. Going through the villages as well.
I think Ducky's just holding on to that gap at the moment. He came out about 10 seconds behind, so he's not gaining again.
No, he's doing a good job. We'll see what his that was his obviously his out lap before 12, so this is his first full time lap in anger. It just sounds like the Porsche is always valve bouncing. Oh no, he's just had to catch the rear end then at mid corner. He got away from him.
Oh, he is pushing.
He's definitely pushing. And here's Nürburgring again, just benefiting from the draft, holding behind Tim and Jack. Coming into the Mills Lane corner.
Yeah, so session 2, Nürburgring and I fell off the pace a little bit, so we tried to work together for as long as we could to try and catch back up.
Yeah, and then you came a little bit of cloppers with the Porsche of Slide Science, I believe. Probably back at that corner.
Yeah, we caught Slide.
Corner or somewhere there.
At
There was some
Dunlop
corner that he
curve.
seemed to done up. Yeah, there was some corner there that I think that it seemed like. Oh, that's right. It was the corner up the top end before the Moons Lane straight. The Tetra Rouge, I think.
Yeah, Tetra
I think slide was planted down the inside of the apex, and you seem to have gone up over the curb a little bit higher, and then it spun you around.
Yeah, he I was trying to get nice and close so I could get him on the straight, and then he must have got a bit loose and then jumped on the brakes on the exit, and I was already full throttle, and it just caught me out. So I jumped on the anchors and spun myself.
So there you go. Look, Nürburgring getting a nice little tow here from the Aston Martin's first, the fastest sector 2 for him.
Yeah, so he's just chilling there, and they're working together.
Yeah, and in the open comms, race comms, they may have even talked about that as well. But here he is. This is where Nürburgring really wanted to probably make the move. So he just held him up there. Nürburgring had a nice run where Tim and Jack had a little bit of a moment coming out of the Porsche curves. So you won't see Nürburgring do his fastest lap here of the race. He was on the money to get his fastest lap. So it's interesting how this is all going to play out between these two. As you said, if they are working together, Dark Lord now into the pits. That's unscheduled.
Ooh,
yes, look at that. What a great run he's had up to now. He's actually been charging through to put himself in a little great comeback spot from being a 6-minute wait time.
Yeah.
But he's still going to be under 2 minutes, I reckon, wait time by the time if he keeps doing this.
Yeah, I guess the track's getting a bit hotter and car's getting unpredictable.
Yeah, just pushing a little bit too hard. But anyway, that's fixing damage. Probably fill up the tanks. He won't pit now with the other guys, which he could have done, but he'll probably just run with whatever fuel he ends up with. Gain a little bit of extra time while the guys are in the pits filling up their tanks before we come to the final session later on this afternoon. I just got to pull that up again. I said it earlier, but my memory's not as good as when I was a young lad. But we're looking at 2:20 p.m. This afternoon, Australian Eastern Standard Time. That's the Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria side of Australia. That's the time we'll have our final hour session, which is 2 times time progression to simulate 2 hours. So far, once we finish this session, we would have seen 22 hours of simulated time through the race, over 5 hours of actual sim racing. And we'll have our final hour run, which will see the in-game time from 1 p.m. finished at 3 p.m. in-game time. And then we'll have our 2021 winners of the Le Mans, 5th running of the ANZCRL Le Mans 24 hours.
5th running, that's going well, eh?
Oh yeah, we've had a good rich history, which you can obviously find over on our website, aus-nzcrl.weebly.com. Or just do the old Google search for ANZCRL, and you should be able to see all our where we are. We're on Facebook and also on Instagram, ANZCRL, and YouTube, where all these videos are stored and archived over at AusNZCRL, I think it is, or AusNZ Combined Racing League, I think it is called, on the YouTube channel.
Yep. So I don't know if you saw where he did, Commander Series did a 53.8 then.
A 53.8, so that is the... Yes, there you go. We've just, a lot of people just brought it up there. That BMWs now hold the official lap record of the race, not only of this year, but all across the races we've run here with the GTE class. We started off with the LMP2s the first 2 years, I think it was.
Yep.
But for the last 3, we've had the LMPHs and the GTEs. Look at this. Yeah, Knuckles dragging along the ground, right in front, right down below here, this Aston Martin. What a great view.
So Nürburgring's flashing his lights saying, please let me pass, I can take this faster.
Yes, exactly. But we know Tim and Jack can hold his own. We did that with
really
Commander, just broke the lap record with Commander Cirrus behind him for around 20 minutes until Commander Cirrus finally found an opening into the final chicane. I think it was at the Moons Lane Straight, somewhere around there.
That's it.
Could be wrong, could be corrected, but that happened quite a while ago. What a nice part of the track here, these forward chicanes coming back into the complex of the pit area. There you go, just getting his fastest lap that previous lap, but obviously I think Tim and Jack in front of him is probably helping him down the straights, but then hindering him through obviously the Porsche curves.
Yeah, maybe. But 56 is a good time, and yeah, that was Nürburgring's fastest time, so they just didn't hang in there. I did notice the lap before was 58 to 59, so maybe that's what he was getting a bit frustrated by.
Yeah, and look, talking about the times, like when the first year we were in the GTs, everyone was happy with a 58.
Yeah.
Now we're not happy if you're not getting 55s. So it just shows you how much quicker we have become.
Yeah.
And finding out, and obviously setups have a lot to do with that too, and also driving styles.
Yeah.
We touched on that earlier about the finesse you need in these cars, in the GTEs. Not to cook the tyres, they're running soft tyres on 50-degree temperature, track temperature. You'd think you'd want to run hards, but the thing is the hards they'll generate the heat through the Porsche curves, but then the other parts of the track, once you go down the straights and hit the Moose Lane chicanes, you've got no grip whatsoever. The tyres cool down, so that's why they're running the softs.
That's it, yeah.
As Darky just putting a lap on the class leader of the GTEs of Commander Cirrus.
The Dark looks damaged, but he's not. He's repaired.
Well, repaired as best he can, but in his own car and in-game, he'll be 100% fully into it, and no issues whatsoever. Just a little bit of cosmetic. It is 100% damage in our league. Oh, there's been a spin, and that's Tim and Jack. The pressure has got to him, and that's into the second of the Moose Lane chicanes coming out. That's probably one of the most trickiest chicanes, I reckon.
That right hand. Yep.
Yeah, I think every driver has had an incident there throughout their career. Maybe not in the race, but throughout their racing career, they find that they do have struggles through that corner.
Yeah, I spun there on session 1, trying to get out the corner.
Yeah, it's so easy to do. I think it's the inside curb. It just, you try and get a little bit of it, and it unsettles you, and you're sort of bouncing around, and then you're trying to hold a line so you don't drift out too much for that left-hand curb, and then next thing you know, you're looping it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, this year I had in the BMW that I came in too hot. I must have been still a little bit sideways under brakes, and when I got on the throttle, it just stayed sideways, and then usually it sort of grips up and goes, but this time it just looped.
Yeah, okay, yeah, definitely. It could have been also, I don't know, maybe your tyres as well, having that little moment, maybe just gone above its peak temperature as well.
Yeah.
It's all those sort of things. Running lap after lap, they're just slowly wearing, and obviously the heat's generating in them as well.
Yep. And Matty just commented the exit is off camber as well, so that certainly won't help.
No, that's it. All these things, all these little technical things you've got to take into account to make you a fast driver.
Yep. Has Lordy pitted for fuel? Yes, he has. I'm going to say he's a minute and 30 off Cirrus, so...
But he's pitted a bit early though, hasn't he?
I think he has.
Was that about not? Yeah, because Jetto didn't pit until about the last 8 minutes, so he maybe have got a little bit of damage or something happened there. Yeah, so maybe he came into a little bit of problem maybe with an LMP car lapping him, or as you said, maybe he's just nudged a barrier somewhere.
Yeah, it must have been gentle because there's not much damage. But it would have been enough. Well, maybe he took his bumper off and he just put it back on. Hard to tell.
See, these all, yeah, that's right, but these are all the things that are playing in the hands of this man here, Dark Lord, for the final session, if he just keeps... Unfortunately, he had that little error. That he's had to have that unscheduled stop, but if he could have had an absolutely clean run here, all those little accidents from these cars will benefit for him to get a good podium result. But no, I'd say who's licking their lips would be Nürburgring. He'd be definitely, because with Lloydie having that unscheduled stop, he sort of brought him into his strategy of Nürburgers.
That's Huds.
Yeah, Huds flying by in the Formula 1 sounding Toyota, LMPH. A Notch Motorsport Toyota. Notch Motorsports being obviously the sim racing team of Lolux.
Yep.
Am I right in saying Lolux? Was it? Yeah, Lolux.
Lolux, yep. Yep, Lolux is trying to generate that team, get it going. It's good having these little teams in amongst the club, isn't it?
Well, it's good. I like it. They all got their own little pages, and they talk about it and post and share, and it just generates interest within in a community, which that's what we're all about.
That's it. Bit of inter-rivalry, and it helps with these lap times too, doesn't it? When everyone's working together and
definitely
sharing strategies and tuning methods.
Yeah, so we've only really got the Notch Motorsport and P51 Sim Sports. We did have Apex Eaters of Slide Science. He had a team going there for a while.
Yep.
I had a team going when we were Premier Motorsport, which was an offshoot for Lockie 55s when he used to run with us. So we had that team running for a little while. But yeah, it's good to see. It's always good as we've got as the member base always grows, and there might be a particular series that guys come in, and we like to say that you run that name as long as you also promote that as a team name.
Yep.
And it's just not making for a one-make series, that you actually start trying to develop a team under that name.
That's it. So Tim and Jax didn't lose too much time in this spin. He's only down 4.
Yeah, and Nürburger's, it's just, you'd be happy with that being clear though, Nürburger. So what's he now behind Lloyd? He's only right about, so that timing's out. When I was looking at there to him to Lloyd, he's actually in front of him. But so he's 40 seconds roughly. As Lloydie's had an accident, has he? It's dropping hugely for Lloyd. Yes, he has. Through the Porsche curves again. So the car that's been led for the first 3 hours, and probably the 3 hours, 40 minutes roughly, until Commander Series took lead, has striked a few troubles here, and now in the grips of maybe losing second spot if Nürburger keeps on this charge. But Lloydie looks like it was just a spin and no major damage, so he can stay out on track.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be much hotter out there. I reckon close to 40 degrees now.
Well, I believe it's all cleared skies almost. So in the final session is going to be clear sky. So
it's got to be
obviously been light cloud to a bit of clear sky now. I can't see many clouds at all. That heavy cloud whisked away pretty quickly.
Yep. Yeah.
Track bathed in sunshine.
Yeah, and then get really unpredictable. Like one lap you'll come around and it'll stick. Next lap it'll wash right out. So it must be right on the limit now.
Well, look at the shadows. The sun's pretty much right on top of them, so it's around about 12, at least, there's not much shadows there. Yep. The shadows of the trees pretty much, with the overhanging trees on the track, are only creating that shadow. So, it looks like the sun is definitely right above us as we're on the blimp cam.
So.
They don't have the old blimps these days, do they? They're all drones.
Drones
come along with some great motorsport shots,
Oh, the way they can chase them now.
Technology. Yeah, it's tremendous. Oh, it's Darky. Comes straight around the outside of Nürburger. That's obviously going to be a time penalty. He might have to run off down the side of the track. He seemed like he was well and truly off. See, there he goes. That's what we were saying earlier. Illogical.
What a sneaky move.
Yeah. It might come back. It might come back on now because he's come back onto the track. But then you come off to brake here, and it just disappears.
Yeah.
Because it's thinking that you're actually braking to take that penalty off for rejoining the track or whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's clever. I never knew that. So that's good to know.
There's all this. This is how some of these drivers, you know, little tricks that people learn in the game. The little, you can call them little bugs and little things, but you know, you got to exploit these things.
Oh, that's it.
To be consistently fast. Obviously, we don't go out cutting the corners lap after lap, though. We're not. We don't play unfair. We're a very fair group. It's just because he's actually ran off the track there, as you could see, to actually clear the lapped car of GTE without getting in the way or incident. As Darky is seconds chasing down the leader of Weary Knight, or trying to keep that gap as narrow as he can for the time compression to work for him.
Yeah, and he wouldn't have made any time out of it, so no harm there.
That's it.
319, 318.
And when you look at the real life stuff, the faster cars sometimes do a lot of that stuff, and they don't get penalties anyway, you know, because all they're doing is avoiding an incident you know, of the slower cars.
Absolutely, yes. Commander Series still 351.4. Oh, sorry, 354.1. He's still pushing.
He's flying, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yep. So that's beating the previous lap record again. But he's still got the fastest lap with a 353.8 or something like that.
353.8. Yep.
837. So that's a sensational lap. Maybe he got a nice little tow from one of the LMPHs, or maybe a fellow GTE car that he was lapping.
Yeah, perhaps.
But yeah.
Well, we know in practice that there were some 52s thrown out there. I think those conditions might have been a bit more ideal, or something of that nature.
That's just a crazy time, though, when you think about it. You know, when you know, sometimes you're struggling with those 56s and 57s, and someone can turn around and say, "Yeah, we've done a 52."
Yeah. It's almost heartbreaking.
Demoralising. It's like, what? You serious? Oh yeah, but that was on low tanks, fresh set of tyres, and having a draft by our teammate as well, or something like that, you know.
Let's catch up to Lordy now. Well, he's still not picking up his lap time, still 4:01, so I think he's still making little mistakes, or he might have a bit of damage and you're costing him down the straight.
The question is, I don't know if we're going to see Jetto back in the car for the final session, or if Lloydie's taking it all the way. I think Lloydie is, because I think the talk was last night. He said, well, it's his birthday today and he's going to do whatever he wants. So I think he did all the family duties and things yesterday, and today he's just going to concentrate on trying to bring home that number 60 RFH Corvette home to victory. He's going to have a good challenge with the P51 SimSport BMW of Commander Cirrus. I believe he's doing double duties.
He is, yep.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, ideally you want to do 1 and 3, then 2 and 4. But Cirrus couldn't do anything yesterday.
He was working or at school or did something, I think it was.
Yeah, work.
I think it was.
Yep. And same with Lordy. Lordy had to work all day yesterday, so then Jetto did both 1 and 2. I did 1 and 2. And today Lordy and Cirrus will do 3 and 4.
There you go. Inside information from the battle of the teams for the GTE outright victory of the GTE class. Well, I shouldn't say outright. Outright is outright, but the GTE class victory.
Controller. Yeah, I'll let Weary get around the start line. We'll do a lap on board with him, eh?
Yeah, we may as well. We did a night, and we'll have to say, sound up, and we won't talk over the lap, so everyone can enjoy what a lap would be like on board. And we did it on the top of the last year's winner of the GTE class of the Besman Aston Martin. So it'd be nice to go on to a maybe on Weary's on the Audi.
Yep.
Though it wasn't the actual car, the number 8 car of the Audis actually won the race last year.
Oh yeah.
Of Sato and Dark Racing 40, currently in that number 1 Porsche racing team, second in this race. There they are on screen.
They've done well to keep the Porsche right up there with the Audi.
Well, definitely, we were obviously aiming for a Porsche 1-2 if we could.
Yep.
With myself entered in with Nürburgring, but unfortunately due to injury, I've had to back out of the event at the last hour, or not the last hour, the last day on the Friday. I think I mentioned, and so Nürburgring's doing a great job in that Ford. But here we go. As I say, turn up the volume and enjoy a lap around Le Mans 24-hour track on board this P51 Sim Sports Audi R18. So there you go, a lap around with the P51 Sim Sports Audi R18, and they're just coming into pit lanes for his final stop to top up those tanks. But while we've been on board there of the Audi R18, we have seen this man, Commander Cirrus, break that lap record even more with a 3:53.367. So unbelievable time by Commander Cirrus. As he's taken his pit stop now for his final run, fill up the tanks as he's motoring out of pit lane now. But what a lap there, a logical spot. Oh no, we've just seen Lloydie come undone there into the Indianapolis. No way.
That was
the man
unfortunate.
is currently second, and now the car is not steering anywhere. And guess who's going to benefit from this? The man we keep saying is Nürburgring in the 4 Ferrari. Absolutely. He's going to automatically see these times tumbling and going, what's going on with Lloydie in front? Lloydie's definitely going to be in the pits here as Hud's just behind Nürburgring, so Nürburgring's just got to keep his cool. So does Hud's, as he's just letting him, I don't think he was going wide. I think Nürburgring was just drifted wide there on those old tyres.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I was just trying to see where Lloydie was on track to see if he was catching up to Cirrus, but that was... yeah,
that was obviously through the Porsche curves. So Lloyd will obviously be in the pits this lap. His windscreen is absolutely smashed. He's going to have a bit of repair time there. So here he comes. No, he's not going into the pits. So maybe it's not as bad as we think, but he won't be able to see out of that windscreen. Lucky it's not later in the afternoon.
Yeah, right at the end of the race. I think you're just seeing that, just trying to hold the position, hold that time.
Yeah, but he could have obviously, yeah, you're probably right, but the other benefit, I guess, sitting there waiting for the damage repair as well, is going to cost him that he doesn't need, but I was just thinking he'd fill up at the same time. But yeah, he doesn't want to be sitting for 30 seconds for damage. He's not going to lose 30 seconds doing the last, he's going to have this in the next lap to do.
Yeah. Well, Nürburgring's within 20 seconds.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that because obviously Lloydie will not be able to keep going at the pace that he's been going. You wouldn't think. You think this car is pretty much struggling.
Yeah, it seemed like he wasn't steering straight.
No, look, he can't keep a straight line. It's all over the shot.
Look at his top speed.
Yeah, and that's where he's going to lose out to Nürburgring. Nürburgring's going to gain down the straights. As here they all come, the GTEs. Now the cut-off where we're going to start recording the time for the fuel levels is 2 minutes remaining. We're going to have a logical readout the fuel levels as this goes, and I'm going to write them down. We'll go through the LMP-H division first, and then we'll go through the GTEs from 1 down to last. So as you can see now, Nürburgring, see down the straights. He started, he was about 19 seconds or so. He's gained 2 seconds. And this is a good area to check because they're both hitting their top speeds down the Mousseline straight. As you can see, Jetto on that map just hitting the second chicane now. The white dot. So there you can see in the distance, can't you? A lot of the red car coming down the Mousseline straight. As Darky's in. So this should give the lead back to Weary Knight when Starkey comes out of pit lane. So they all got to pit in here because, as we said, at 2 minutes remaining. So if he goes to do another lap, Darky, he's going to be recorded with less fuel. So that's why he's had to pit early to make sure that that fuel number is up.
Oh, listen to him.
Them up out of pit lane.
Yeah, ain't waiting.
He's probably just burned an extra litre of fuel just then.
Maybe. Oh yeah, 7 seconds off Lloydie now.
Yeah, so I think Nürburgring is going to, if all going well and he doesn't come in an instant with Lloydie, he should finish his session in second after starting in fourth, I think it was. So, yeah. He's going to be happy about his run, Nürburgring, because as I said, he has done a bit of a setup change with his aero between session 2 and 3, while everyone else was sleeping.
Well, he's got a clean car, so it's worked, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's doing a good job, but that's where I was saying to give him credit. He's only been able to test and run this car. He was lucky he got a tune from Dado, I believe, because Dado ran this car with Wadey or someone back in the day. Yep. I think the first event that we had 3 years ago with the GTEs.
So I believe with that, he took the tune, but he decided to start fresh with his own one.
Right, and so he's only basically had since Friday. So and we started on Saturday, so he only had 24 hours to try and sort out a car.
No, he's done well. All right. Coming up to 2 minutes to go.
Not quite yet. Wait, when we go to 2, we'll start there. I'm just writing down some numbers here. Just hang on for a sec. I've got to go through the list first.
All good.
Cirrus, Lloyd. Oh, actually, we'll go through these guys now. So what do we got? We'll go up 1.
44 litres.
Yep.
Dark Racing, 61 litres.
Yep.
HUD, 53 litres.
30 litres. Okay, so the GTEs will have Cirrus, is it?
Amanda Cirrus, 91 litres.
Up 1 with it, 92.
Yep.
Just go up 1 from what they're at.
53 litres.
Yep.
Nürburger, he'll be full
Well,
tank.
he's in pits, so we'll come back to him.
Tim and Jack, 91 litres.
Yep.
And then Dark Lord, 55 litres.
So we'll just go back to him. So it's what, 61?
61.
Would be full tank. Yep.
Is that all they get in
Beautiful.
the Ford? Doesn't use much.
Must be, or maybe that's all he put in. I thought the Ford had a lot more fuel than that. So maybe just what he's had there.
Yep.
So he maybe missed his opportunity. So it's all about maybe he had the wrong strategy set up. Maybe it was something he maybe reduced fuel for something there and hasn't reset it up to maximum fuel. I don't know. But these are the little things that happen. But with 30 seconds remaining after this 2-hour session, so we're going to be at the 5-hour mark very shortly, guys. We've got 1 more hour left of this race, which we're going to come up to at 2:20 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. But we're going to have 1 extra lap by Weary Night. So you can see the other white dot behind him is obviously his Dark Racing 40. He's just coming through the Ford chicanes now. So now's the time that they want to try and bridge the gap as much as they can. So this last lap means a lot. So to these drivers, they obviously want to try and pick up any valuable time that they can. As Lloydie is now second, he's not Lloydie's still second. I mean, because that's right, Nürburger pitted.
Yep. I wonder if Tim and Jack came in after we checked the fuel.
Yeah, they have. So
yeah.
He didn't have to pit, so that's been a mistake by, again, there's been another pit strategy call mistake by that Besman crew. So the last year's winners have a few little mistakes that crept into their game this weekend. Because he had enough fuel. We took his number, he was at 91, so he's come in. So why he went in, he was coming out of pit lane then, so maybe he was damaged. But even if he was damaged, as you said before, unless the car was undrivable, you just motor on through. The pit stop is a lot longer.
Yeah.
So, but that's bringing some interest there now for Dark Lord as well. So Dark Lord now is going to be closer to the last year's winner on return into the final session. And look at that, Dark Lord's had another hit as well. That bumper is just hanging on by the last couple of screws on the right hand side of that car, as here comes Tim and Jack to physically put another lap down over that Porsche, which is going to be their car behind them on the restart.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
So Tim and Jack, so they all on roughly, who's just gone through the start finish line now? Oh no, that second sector up there. I wonder if that's where's Cirrus at the moment? Oh, there he's there. So Cirrus isn't quite putting a lap on, or has he put a lap on? He's on Tim and Jack.
I don't
He
think
hasn't.
he's put a
No, he
lap,
hasn't. No, so it's only Dark Lord.
Well, I'll be relieved for this session to end, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Where he's going to be cheering, maybe thinking, I'm sure he's cheering in the pit garage.
Yeah, time to be cheering them all on here now after a valiant display here by Weary Knight, the only man not to get a time penalty through this session.
They've done really well.
So here he is to complete the 89th lap. I know we're on game here. We're saying lap 36, but he's definitely, after the previous 2 sessions, a total of 89 laps have been completed after 5 hours of racing. As Nürburger finishes as well.
Did Lloyd, was he waiting on the line then?
I don't know where Lloyd is. I'm sorry, I wasn't looking. I was looking somewhere else.
I just saw Lloyd then went with Nürburger on the line. I just want to see Ducky go across.
Yeah, not too sure. Obviously, those timings are all wrong, but there's Lloyd.
I think he was sitting on the line waiting Weary Night.
Oh, I didn't want to do another lap.
Yeah, I think so. Where's Sirius? Down
Yeah, so anyway, he could have done another lap and made our job in admin a little bit easier, but thank you, Lloydie, your birthday boy, giving admin more work to try and actually find out exactly where they stand, because obviously it's going to show that that Commander Sirius has done one extra lap, but theoretically they were on the same lap.
Yeah, he's right with Noburger, so they'll...
So here we are, we're about to finish now. These two are the... Oh, there's a couple more cars, stragglers behind, I think.
Yeah, hard to Sirius, yep.
So if we were playing out this as a as being a safety car intervention, Sirius would actually have been a full lap in front of second.
It's
so
true.
Lloydie should have actually continued on, but what we do is basically based on knowing that they were roughly on the same lap, just because they were in between the actual race leader of the LMPHs, but in class they were on the same lap.
Yep. I think they're about a minute and a half down.
We won't get it to a T, but it'll be close. But there's the class victory there at the moment, or the leader, I should say, not victory. We've got one more session, but Commander Cirrus, that is an absolutely blistering pace that he's been able to do too, because he had to start 30 seconds off off the start of the race. He has completed 31 laps compared to 30 laps that they did in the 2-hour session last night. So the same amount of time, he's been able to squeeze out one extra lap. So he's kept that car absolutely motoring throughout the 2 hours.
Oh, he's been flying.
So that a completely sensational job. Also, officially lap record with a 3:53.367 for the GTEs over the 3 years that we've been running. So he's broken that lap record held by Commander himself, actually, in the Corvette last year. So he's keeping his name on the leaderboards there, logical, but just in a different maker car now.
That's it. Mate,
so anyone thought the BMW was slow.
Yeah.
I tell you what, he's gone faster than what he did last year in the Corvette. But there you go. So that's the end result. I better get a quick screenshot. If you want to quickly go through, I think everyone can read and see themselves. But
yeah, for those who are listening, if you can't see, we got Weary Knight on the lead there. We've got Dark Racing shortly behind, and then Huds, who I believe is a full lap down now. In the GTEs, we've got Commander Cirrus, followed by Colonel Lloyd, with Nurburger right behind. And then Tim and Jack's very close behind as well, he's not too far off. And then Dark Lord, who is also a lap down for the GTEs.
Yeah, so he made up a lot of time after being 6 minutes down as well. So he's done pretty good. He sort of managed that. So he's going to be bringing himself back into contention just around about a minute or so, a bit over a minute, about minute 30 or so, maybe wait time into the final session.
Yep.
But he's going to be definitely trying to pick up a podium, a third position there, fighting with all these cars, and obviously Dado Racer in the last year's winner in the Besman Aston Martin, fourth. With that time compression, he'll go up again, so he won't be too far away, but he's going to have to really push hard to try and get back up to the pointy end. So, I've been your host, Woody Lizard, and alongside me for the ride has been a Logical Sports, currently with a big smile on his face with his team driver leading with Commander Cirrus in that BMW P51 Sim Sports, and his fellow P51 Sim Sports in the LMPH Weary Knight in the number 7. Audi. What a terrific form of the P51 Sports, the Logical Sports.
So proud of the boys. No, they've done really well.
Well done. Yeah, so we're ANZCRL Combined Racing League. We'll see you at 2:20 p.m. This afternoon for the final run to the flag. Hope you come and join us, because I tell you what, it is going to be exciting. The Porsche and Audi battle will not end until the last lap, I reckon, and also the battle between BMW, Corvette, the Ford, and I'll throw in the Aston Martin. The Porsche, I think, is a little bit behind, but I think his battle is for a podium for a third, I think.
Absolutely.
So until then, we'll see you then. Be nice and have a good lunch, and we'll be back shortly. Cheerio.
Okay. Adios.